Then we're just going to keep going with area of parallelograms. We did rectangles and parallelograms yesterday. Like I said before, the rectangle stuff, that's like the elementary school math. So we're going to focus more on the parallelograms today. We're going to do some of the ones that are maybe a little bit more challenging type problems. Start with, when we had the rectangles, how do we find area of a rectangle? Base times height. So we have our area equals base times height. Typically we look at it, bottom's the base, the sides going up and down, height, okay? Y'all saw it usually in elementary school as length times width. Same thing though. It's you take the two numbers they give you, you multiply them together. For a parallelogram, I showed you this yesterday, it works pretty much the same way. And the reason it works the same way is if you cut a piece off of one side and move it over, when you cut that triangle off, you can make yourself a rectangle. And you can see that bottom of the rectangle going all the way across here is what's our base. And when we cut the triangle, that part's the height. What kind of angle do they need to make every time? Right angle every time. Our base and our height need to make a 90-degree angle every time. That's how you can tell which two ones to use, because sometimes it gets a little trickier. Sometimes it's not so tricky. What's the area on this one? 50. Base times height. 10 times 5 gives us 50. It is actually sometimes going to be that easy where it's only two numbers. That's all it gives you. You just got to know what to do. Multiply the two numbers, okay? Odds are good. It won't be quite that easy though. Hopefully we get that lucky. That'd be nice. This is a little tougher. Who could tell me the area for this one? Robert? 35. So which two numbers did he multiply? 5 and 7. And again, how do we know to use 5 and 7? They're making a right angle. Usually, the picture will have a little square. It won't always, especially in this case, I made that one. I just didn't take the time to put the little square. So, but you should be able to tell where the 90-degree angle is, okay? Sometimes it puts it on the inside like this. Sometimes it puts it on the outside of the parallelogram. I'll show you a few like those too. All right, so this one's getting a little trickier now. Mason?
32?
Not 32. Sydney? 40. Area for this one would be 40. Anyone other than Sydney think they can tell me why? Robert?
Because you add 2 and 8.
Yeah, the base is going all the way across. So there's my base. If this part over here is 2 and this part over here is 8, that means my whole entire base is 10. And obviously we have 4 for the height. So 10 times 4, that gives us 40 for the area. That makes sense? Not super tough, right, still? But it is a little more challenging. You got a little extra step to it. All right, who thinks they can tell me this one? Kyle?
40.
Nope. Lacey?
32.
32. This one is 32. Is 2 part of the parallelogram? No. The 2 isn't part of the parallelogram, so our base is only going right here. That's just the 8. Our height is still 4, so 8 times 4 gives us 32. You see how these two are kind of similar, but you see where the difference is, right? In this case, the 2 was part of the actual parallelogram. On this one, the 2 is not part of the parallelogram, so we don't include that, okay? Any questions so far? Not a whole lot more complicated. It's just got more numbers, right? So Gray? 44. Our base, we need flat sides. We can't use the diagonal sides, so that's why we can't use the 5. Our flat side, we got 11 there. The height has to be a 90-degree angle. That makes the height the 4. 3 is not part of it. All right, we see how this works? Like I said, it's not so bad once you get going with it. So again, a lot of extra numbers, right? Lacey? Nope. Not 44. Chassis?
88.
Not 88. Jacob? 56. What's the base on this one? 14. The base is all the way here. So we got 14 for the base. My height then is what? 4. The height makes a 90-degree angle, so we're doing 14 times 4. Okay? Everybody clear on how we get 14 there? Really, this is about as tough as these get, unless I add in some decimals or fractions to it. It's just a matter of adding up something or figuring out which numbers not to use.